YouTube, what's up, and welcome to another replay review. This time, it's not a ranked replay review. It is an RLCS replay review. We are watching Sandrock Gaming in their first ever Rocket League LAN game. First ever major. Of course, they've been playing in the RLCS in the Middle East region and dominating, not losing a single match on their way to the LAN. But this is their first game. They got matched up against G2 Esports. And, I mean, I think at this point, you guys probably already know how it went. I'm not even going to try and not spoil it. If you're watching this, you probably like RLCS. It's a best of 5, and Sandrock did end up winning all 3 games, a full sweep in their first ever cross-regional official RLCS game. So we're going to be watching from 3 different perspectives throughout the whole replay. We're going to start here on TRK. We're going to be watching TRK for game 1, Senzo for game 2, and then Ahmad for game number 3, where you will see what the thumbnail and title are referring to. But these guys have come out and played amazing at the start of RLCS. If you guys haven't been watching the RLCS, you need to. I know for the most part we are a 1v1 channel, but these guys, TRK, Ahmad, we've seen them both play on our channel before in 1v1s. And Senzo, who's subbing in for Khaled, hasn't played on our channel, but Khaled has. And so we should all be fans of the Sandrock crew, especially as 1v1 fans, as TRK almost gets a nice dunk for the first goal of this game 1. But it's been really exciting to see these Middle East players play in the cross-region format, because you have a lot of doubters, you know, a good amount of believers, but I think many more doubters for this team when they came to the major, and not anymore. I'm recording this on the night of Friday, so 3 days have been played. The whole Swiss has been played. Sandrock has made it into the playoffs that are going to be played on Saturday and Sunday. And their first match is going to be against NRG. By the time I release this, they'll have played against NRG. So you may know whether or not they moved on past NRG, or if this was the end of the road for them in the RLCS. But this matchup against G2 was a fairly low-scoring affair. You see TRK slapping in a nice goal after Senzo outplaying that last defender, putting the ball off the backboard. TRK got to just slap one in wide open halfway through the game. The offense from both these teams, looking back, wasn't too you know, terribly crazy. I mean, Sandrock doing a lot of threatening, but not a lot of goal scoring, and definitely not a lot of goal scoring on G2's side. They had some warming up to do, it seems, at the major, but you know, they did have to go up against a tough opponent, as we are realizing now, in Sandrock. TRK right now likely communicating with Ahmad about who's going to clear this off the back wall. And that was a good opportunity for G2. I think a missed opportunity that G2 likely should have put away. I don't know who was on the ball there. JKnaps, not surprised he was unable to find the angle. TRK with just a little bit of boost. I feel like I have seen a lot of handing away a possession, kind of like panic plays from everybody at the LAN. I've been watching most of the games at LAN from my house, and I swear, not a lot of confidence at the start of all of these LAN matches, which I guess you could expect from players, you know, playing in person for the first time in 2 years. A lot of the veterans even mentioning that they're nervous, feeling like they're playing, you know, their first ever LAN games all over again. So it's been very interesting to see, especially how these day 1 games went. After day 1, everybody got a chance to play. I think everybody shook it off for the most part, and were able to play better, you know, following the next days. But all is that to say, not to give you know, G2 an excuse or something for ending up losing the series. I mean, Sandrock just played a better series, and if anything, they should be the players who are more nervous for the moment, having never had anybody from the region ever have a chance to play at a major or any sort of LAN, because the format of majors didn't exist until this season. But G2, a nice passing play, good cut in by TRK in order to break that up. This ball dropping down in the corner, and really good reaction and air rolling by TRK to make sure he stayed grounded in case that ball did head to the corner. The clock winding down. TRK having to make a final save. I'm surprised TRK played so passive on the goal line instead of going out to try and challenge the ball, but I think you see that from a lot of these guys, and Senzo just barely clearing the way for Chicago, and game number 1 going to Sandrock. Game number 2, we are going to watch from Khaled's replacement, Senzo, who almost immediately scored off the rip after a neutral kickoff, shooting one right down the center of the field, just barely off the post. He's going to try and get 2 touches in a row to dunk JKnaps, but Senzo has been playing really, really well. I mean, I think people have been pretty clear about the fact that Senzo is barely a step down from Khaled. I think the top 4 players, nice outplay. I think it was a bit of a mistake actually from Senzo, who tried to kind of half commit as he jumped up and then decided to come back down. He had to do one or the other. But before TRK was on the team, it was Ahmad, Senzo, and Khaled, and they were equally as dominant for the longest time, but there was almost no reason for the Middle East guys to play, so they ultimately, or Senzo, who had internet troubles, ultimately decided, kind of what's the point? I can't play in competitive games. We're not part of the official league, and my internet is frequently screwing me and maybe my team over. So he ended up retiring, and then shortly after, TRK took his spot with Ahmad and Khaled, and then the RLCS got announced. And this was maybe like a month, maybe not even a month after Senzo had retired and been replaced. And so he came back as the sub. Sandrock sub. Did he have a controller disconnect? Wait a second. What happened? That was obviously some kind of controller disconnect. Again? Am I crazy? Did this game get paused or something? Oh, it did. I totally forgot. Oh, man. I forgot this game did get paused. But I don't know if he was having controller disconnect or what. Not doing a lot of moving around. So the game did get paused and restarted. And I remember that now that I watched it happen in front of me. But down to G2 finding their footing a little bit at the beginning of this game number 2. Senzo looking to try and get a high clear. Good coverage by G2, but they slam it right down to TRK, who sends it all the way across the map. Chicago off the back wall. You see all those G2 defenders on the back line. They all just triple committed for that. Luckily, Dreaz able to get a couple taps in a row to save his team and get them out of defense. Chicago, a great counter the other way. And Senzo had to save it away. Chicago's dribble broken up. You see Senzo checking to see if he's going to get that back corner boost, but recognizing Chicago's going to take it. No reason to dive in there. Just rotate back around the net. This is a great lob up for Senzo, who's trying to win the 50 down to Ahmad. Ahmad out to the center of the field. Dreaz meeting TRK just in time. I mean, it's crazy, how every defender, I feel like, when watching LCS is playing ultra passive. You see players establishing themselves on defense in a way that always plans to react to the shot that comes, as opposed to, playing a little bit more proactive. Nice demo by Senzo. TRK missing what felt like, Ahmad missing what felt like an open net at the time, I remember. But you expect last defenders on the back line. Chicago can't get that clear, and Ahmad's going to score the first. But I feel like more than you'd expect. Of course, last backs usually try and be as passive as possible in their defense in order to make sure they can buy time for their teammates. But these teams, for the most part, especially at the start of RLCS, I think overdoing it a little bit and letting some scoring opportunities create that otherwise wouldn't have happened. JKnaps down in the corner, a dunk between Chicago and Senzo. Senzo has spent a lot of time at low boost, but never in a way that seems to take him too far out of the play. Senzo is also nice dunk. by Senzo. Nice slow play. I saw some stats. Senzo is, at least after today, was the top demoer of anybody else per game, with something like 2 point something demos per game, or maybe even more. Followed up by a couple other players we know to be nice and physical, but I think the whole Middle East team were pretty physical in terms of demos. So a very aggressive offensive play style, clear out the defenders and shoot for the Middle East players. Senzo is definitely playing a bit more of a third man here in this second game. He does have one of their goals, and I know people talked about whether or not Senzo coming in, who is normally a big aggressor, with Ahmad and then Khaled being that third man, whether or not TRK would have to go back and pick up that third man position. But it seems, at least at the beginning of this series, Senzo has been more than willing to be that third man and be that link in the anchor, I should say, for the back of the team. It's so fast by Dreaz up to our Chicago, whoever it was, to take it away from Senzo. It was 2-2 as the clock winds down between Sandrock and G2. And we are going to overtime in game number 2. TRK, maybe an intentional loss back to the corner here for Senzo. Not the best first touch. I think Senzo probably regrets that, as he ends up taking it straight down to the side field, where it's an easy dunk. And now having to try and clear it all by himself. I don't think he has any teammates close to the play. They're both having to reset on boost. Dreaz, a nice read. Senzo's going to have to go up off the backboard. G2 not letting him clear it away. It's not going to matter. JKnaps, a really poor touch. Chicago having to dive in, which is going to leave Dreaz all by himself. Senzo, wide rotation all the way back to his half. Chicago, a nice outplay, leaving TRK all alone, but TRK and Ahmad save it together. A pinch off the crossbar. The play from Sandrock in this series just was so electric, and if you watched it live, it's just impossible not to be hyped for these guys, even if you were a G2 fan, like I have known to be. It's just so exciting to see Sandrock come and play. You never really knew how it was going to go for these guys, and with every 150, with every tying goal or game-leading goal, you felt a little bit more hype for him. Senzo has a great redirect here and a great team play to finish it off. Ahmad with a great final touch as he touches it soft to the far post, but a nice team play to finish it off. Well-earned game number 2, and then we will head to the redirect heard around the world in game number 3. All right, YouTube, you know whose perspective we have to watch game number 3 from. This is Ahmad's perspective for game number 3 as they go up against G2. They're up 2-0 in the series, and I believe this redirect will be talked about for a long, long time. Whether or not it'll be coined as the redirect heard around the world, or it'll just be a memorable highlight from an RLCS that was a great debut for the Middle East. No matter how it goes, even though I don't know how it ends for the Middle East, it hasn't happened yet. But we will watch this game from Ahmad's perspective. Rocking, I think he's been rocking this same decal for all of the RLCS, but if you guys see the hype chamber for the Sandrock Gaming guys, they have a Stocktain with green and some black wheels, and I'm like, dude, this is actually kind of sick. I wish Sandrock would rock Team Green. It'd be actually nasty. The Dignitas players are all playing with their decals, and it's pretty sick. I was always pretty neutral about it, like it didn't really matter, but now that I've seen it, I wouldn't mind more teams rocking their decals together. Which, of course, Sandrock doesn't have a decal. I have to imagine they're going to get one soon. Not really sure why they wouldn't be able to, but at least they could throw on the green. That'd be nasty. Anyways, Ahmad, he is one of the players that has been around for the longest time. If you haven't watched the Sunless Khan video that came out recently about the Sandrock squad and their journey to the RLCS, you should definitely do it. But it brings up some old Ahmad moments, including a redirect very similar to the one he eventually gets here in Game 3 against G2. And it's just kind of a magical moment of RLCS that, you know, may never have an equal, because it was truly a crazy first game for the Middle East guys. Ahmad, big clear. He has always been one of the aggressors for Sandrock. I mean, through both iterations of the team. And this is a crazy save. I forgot about this save, but absolutely nutty save to get underneath the crossbar and pinch that out in a spot where he was having to come from outside the net to make the save. I remember this now that I saw it, but because this redirect is so crazy, it did make me forget it for a moment. Truly insane. And as I was just about to talk about how Ahmad's been one of their best offensive players in both iterations of the team, he comes and makes an amazing clutch save. Dreaz doing a great job of dribbling and laying out 50s to finish off possessions. I think, you know, Dreaz did play a good series. This is Dreaz. As you guys who have been watching my channel for a while would know that, you know, we've seen Dreaz in 1v1s, and we of course hope him to do well. I think he did do well. Him and G2 are eliminated now. They were able to pick up a couple series wins before exiting, and I think they played well, and I think Dreaz can feel good about how he played. I doubt he's actually in the hot seat with the rest of his team, but people who like to view RLCS like to make it seem that way. You know, as soon as they don't have a good, as soon as Dreaz doesn't have like a perfect game, I think people like to jump down his throat just because he's the new guy on the block. But I think he had a great LAN. I can't imagine, you know, anybody's thinking about getting rid of Dreaz anytime soon. I think the team's been playing really well with him. And I think we got a good future for our other youngster that we've seen on the scene. It'll be interesting to see when Daniel will get to join the RLCS crew as well, as those two guys have been dominant for so long. Destined to see them on the big stage. Ahmad has no boost to pick up here, deep in this corner. But he is cutting rotation. We just see him cut rotation, put pressure on whenever possible. You see right here, this is a smart wait. You know, this time nobody going up to challenge that shot. You can tell it's going to get dropped down to them, but still very passive defending from a trio that is already, you know, and available on the goal line. They didn't necessarily have to play quite as safe, but Senzo to Ahmad. Dreaz, man, he has been the deciding factor watching from Ahmad's perspective in this game 3. He just seems to keep breaking up all the best opportunities for this SRG squad. It's a great quick reset. He's not going to get any boost to finish it off. But as the clock winds down, we're going to find out it doesn't necessarily need much as he 50s this one away. TRK launching it down, and the redirect at 0 seconds to finish off the sweep from TRK, Ahmad, and Senzo over G2. Truly nasty. I guess he does pick up this corner boost. I thought he did it with like very little after flying upfield, but he does pick up this corner. And let's just watch the beauty in slow motion, since this is what the video is all about. Oh wait. Slow this down. Let's go 10%. 10% here. Dreaz in net, ready to make a save on anything that isn't exceptional. Ahmad has to fly basically completely past the ball and to be able to redirect it. It is super far on this right side of the net, and he's flying from the left side of the net. But he clutches it perfectly, pops it over Dreaz. Chicago and JKnaps on the comeback, cannot affect the shot. My goodness, what a redirect by Ahmad. One I'm sure he'll never forget, and neither will the Middle East region.